All right. Hey, we got the awards we can hand out. I have to say, I said this before, and I said it again. They should have a ceremony, maybe before Game 1 of the World Series, where they hand out Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, MVP, Manager of the Year, because there's always this confusion. Yeah, I remember. I'll never forget it. Like when Clayton Kershaw won the MVP and the Cy Young Award after his brilliant 2014, and all the knuckleheads calling the sports talk shows are like, "Well, he choked in the playoffs. Why not give it to Bumgarner?" I don't understand. Every year was that it's a regular season award. It's nothing to do with this and nothing to do with that. Jeter. How come they give it to A-Rod? Jeter won the ring. Yes, I know he won the ring. There would be no more confusion if they hand these awards. They do that in the NBA. You know who the MVP is. They announce those things, and it sort of adds a little bit of juice and everything like that. So I say have a ceremony where they hand them out, and it adds a little bit of excitement beforehand. Why not? Who gets hurt from that?
Yeah, and I will say one thing that the NBA could do and the MLB could do, if you're going to hand out the awards, because I know you like how the NBA hands it out, but do it before the playoffs start. I think that's the issue that we see in basketball. That's the issue we see now, because it's like you feel like in the moment after the regular season, you know who the MVP is, and then after you go through the playoffs, you're like, why do we think that guy's the MVP? Because he might have flamed down the postseason, or someone else just takes it to another level who we already know is a great player, but then it's like we might have overlooked them in the regular season. So hand these awards out at the conclusion of the regular season, before the playoffs start, so our perspective and our opinions on these awards aren't jaded, please. Yeah,
I totally agree. Well, let's hand out some hardware here.
Yes, I think we're going to agree on a bunch of these.
Let's do. I talked about one of them the other day. So I'm gonna throw out. I'm gonna throw one out right now. I gave out in my podcast yesterday who I think is hands down needs to be the American League Manager of the Year. I wonder who you would pick.
Okay, I feel like we might pick the same guy here just because I know this is one of your dudes. You got the photo behind you. You want one of his lieutenants to get hired, but why not just hire the main man himself, because he's won multiple World Series for the Giants and he's come to the Texas Rangers and in one season has able to turn around that franchise, a franchise that has been stuck in some mediocrity the last few years. Those post-World Series years, they've been stuck. They've been trying to spend money. It hasn't worked out. They've just been mediocre, but then after one season when it felt like they might have had average talent, they added a Marcus Semien, they added a Corey Seager. They struggled their first year, but the second season under Bruce Bochy, he's turned everything around. The culture, the offense is in full throttle. They've had a lot of pitching woes in terms of health. It has not mattered. He got the best of Nathan Eovaldi, the John Grays. I think he just basically maximized every player on the roster. I mean, you go up and down, it's like every player I think is playing to the best version of themselves. And I think a great manager brings out the best of all the players on his team. I think Bruce Bochy has done that for the Rangers.
And all due respect to Brandon Hyde, all due respect to several other managers who've done a fine job this year in the American League. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's, as I said before, he's lost Scherzer, he's lost DeGrom. His bullpen was just abysmal, and they went on that massive tailspin, and that he kept the team focused, and they never, while they tailspin and they fell out of the playoff race for a little bit, they managed to, stay in. And to me, I can't, it's such an astonishing job that, again, I could understand someone making a case for Brandon Hyde, but no, this has to be Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, and when you have the pedigree of Bochy has, like, it's easy for your message to get across the locker room. It's easy to instill the values that you want on a team. So I think it's pretty obvious how much of an impact he's made since coming over to the Rangers.
Okay, who do you have in the National League?
My NL MVP,
Manager of the Year.
Oh yeah, not my MVP. My NL Manager of the Year is another inspired pick by Sully Baseball, because you said this team if they swapped out their manager, Don Mattingly, this team could potentially make the postseason. I'm talking about the Miami Marlins manager here, because this team, they did swap out the manager, and then all of a sudden their offense took a big boost. Jazz Chisholm still once again in and out the lineup, but it doesn't matter because your Luis Arises have had great seasons. You've had some other great seasons like Jorge Solares. You've added pieces at the deadline thanks to your GM. You got some really great years out of the young guys of your rotation, because this team is so young, and a lot of those young pitchers have looked really good this year. I think when you look at this team, development's very important, and it looks like all these young players have taken a step forward this season under the new manager. So I'm going, let me make sure I have his name right, Skip Schumacher of the Miami
He's so
Marlins.
good you don't know who the hell he is.
I had to write it down, because I was like, let me make sure I have this one.
Which generic white guy is this manager? That's right.
Yeah, I was like, did he coach the Cardinals?
Was it Tom Trumplehorn? Is it Jim Riggleman? No, it's Skip Schumacher.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Schumacher, but I let's not sleep on Brian Snitker. I mean, I know the manager of the year tends to be the manager who had to go through the most amount of turmoil, who overcame a lot of adversity. Easy for you to say. But I also occasionally want to manage, the manager who is just has their team in it all the time. I mean, I was giving some consideration to Dave Roberts when you consider how decimated their pitching staff was, how they had to, they at one point were looking at, was Lance Lynn going to be their number 2 pitcher? Because the injuries to May, the suspension of Urias, Gonsolin's injury, all these things happened at once. And the Dodgers, despite having a wonderful season from the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Giants making a run at them at one point, have, they're probably going to finish the season with 97, 98 wins, despite all that. So I know it's, the Braves and the Dodgers are supposed to win. Yeah, but a lot of teams that are supposed to win don't.
Yeah.
And so I would probably say Schumacher for the same reason you did, but I would give a lot of love to both Roberts and to Snitker for the fine job, and to Craig Counsell for the Milwaukee Brewers, who saw that opening with the Cardinals wetting the bed, and have the Brewers are going to take this division with ease. Okay, let's go on. Let's go to the other one that I think is going to make you happy. The Rookie of the Year. I think the American League is kind of easy. Gunnar Henderson of Baltimore is my pick there. Again, someone from Baltimore is going to get some hardware this year, and I don't have his stats from today. That he fits right in. As an infielder, giving him 20 some odd home runs and OPS in the 800s, has a little bit of speed, strikes out too much, fine, but he's a 22-year-old who is playing with the poise of a seasoned veteran, and it looks like that Orioles team is probably going to win the division. I am completely all for that.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson is the betting favorite right now. Also, Tristan Cassis of the Boston Red Sox is a sleeper. Also, Josh Young of the Rangers, and maybe even like a Yoshida of the Red Sox as well. But I'll probably go Gunnar Henderson, 800 plus OPS, and a finish with near 30 home runs. Just looked really solid and comfortable at the plate as his first professional, big league season under his belt. And then, of course, the NL Rookie of the Year award winner. I mean, we don't even have to discuss it, because sports books have started paying this bet out months ago, because he ran away with this so early on. Corbin Carroll is going to take home this award. I did a podcast. I've been doing podcasts on him all week on where does his rookie season rank among all rookies.
Fantastic.
Yeah, like this is like a top 5, top 10 rookie season that we've ever seen. First player ever, 25 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Really incredible stuff from Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, he was really been tremendous. I mean, Jordan Walker had a terrific year. Kodai Senga, L.A. De La Cruz with his impact on the Reds. But this has to be unanimous first for Corbin Carroll. I mean, he's been unbelievable.
I think Senga is probably going to finish second, because all of a sudden he might finish like top 5 in Cy Young voting.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Carroll. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, this would have been another Arizona Diamondback win for the Cy Young. Gallen pitched great today, and he's got to wind up having a wonderful season. There's no getting around it. But this has to be Blake Snell.
Yeah, Blake Snell actually kind of like ran away with it at the end of the season. I mean,
unbelievable. Yeah.
He's going to lead the league in ERA. He's going to lead the league in ERA plus, hits per nine. He's going to have one of the best strikeout numbers in the sport as well. So it's like, in terms of everything, he's going to be like top 3 or better in every major statistical stat for a pitcher. So Blake Snell has ran away with this at the end of the season.
And another person who's run away with it, and man, could you imagine as disappointing a season as the Yankees have had this year, what would they have been without Garrett Cole, who has, his 200 innings pitched. His ERA is right now at 2.75. He has 217 strikeouts in those 200 innings. His win-loss record is 14-4, and I'm going to use that in his favor because there have been so many games that he left with the lead that the bullpen, whisked away. He would easily, just off the top of my head, he would have 18 wins if the Yankees didn't blow some of his stellar performances he had there. And if you go to baseballreference.com, the single greatest website in the history of the planet Earth, a lot of black. Leads the league. If you like win-loss percentage, I'm not a big fan of it, but he leads the league in that. ERA, starts, innings pitched, ERA plus, whip, hits per nine innings, all sorts of
everything,
advanced metrics that I couldn't understand in 1,000 years. He is the Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, and quietly, like Sonny Gray might finish like runner-up or something.
Oh, he's been
had
terrific.
A great season. I just wouldn't expect him to all of a sudden come out of the woodwork and finish runner-up, even though he's a very good pitcher.
But it's going to be. I mean, Coles was the runner-up at the Cy Young Award in 2019 and 2021. He's finally going to get the award this year.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want. I mean, the Yankees gave him a lot of money, but he's been in the mix for that Cy Young Award and been one of the best pitchers in baseball every single season.
I think the one blemish is I think the one real blemish was wetting the bed in the wild card game against Boston in 2021. But he's been what the Yankees he has delivered. Yeah. He's been what the Yankees have needed.
Yeah, Cole hasn't been the problem as to why the Yankees haven't reached greater heights during his tenure with the team.
Okay, and the AL MVP, real tough. Should it be Shohei Ohtani unanimously, or should one jerk reporter give it to someone else just because they want to feel cool?
Yeah, honestly, and it's like it's even tough to make an argument for someone else right now. Like if there was even someone that had like 40, like if there was like a Vlad Guerrero, when Ohtani had the season a few years ago.
Right.
It was like, okay, there's someone else with 45 home runs, monster season. But it's like when you look at the odds for who could win it, like Corey Seager's number 2, and Corey Seager's having an MVP type season. The only problem is they only play like 60-70% of the games this year. Like he
doesn't have 130 some odd innings as a pitcher.
Yeah, he's going to have way less games than Ohtani, and, of course, he doesn't have the pitching stats either. So it's like, as good as Corey Seager's been, Ohtani is just on another level. And even if he didn't pitch, he's still the best position player as well in the American League. So it's like, whatever you want to say, Ohtani should get the MVP award.
And who do you have in the National League?
MVP, this one is a little bit tightly contested because you got those 2 Dodgers guys, but I'm going with the Braves dude, Ronald Acuna, who is having one of the best seasons we've ever had, might enter the 40-70 club. I don't think, has anyone ever done that before?
No.
I think you'd be the first player. So it's like, if you're going to do stuff, I know Freddie Freeman, he's like the first 20 home run, 20 stolen base. You know what? That's not as cool. 2020 is not as cool as 40 and 70. So I'm going with Ronald Acuna.
A couple weeks ago, it was, I think, a 3-way race between Acuna, Freeman, and Betts. And then Acuna said, I got this. I think those are your 3 finalists. And I think 2 and 3 is a complete coin toss at this point between Betts and Freeman. But the way that Acuna has played the last 2 or 3 weeks has just set him aside. So I think, are any of them really toughly contested? I mean, other than Manager of the Year, those are all pretty. There's not going to be a lot of suspense unless there's a massive Mo Vaughn over Albert Bell upset. I don't see it. I think that this is Ohtani, Acuna, Garrett Cole, Snell, and the rookies are I mean, maybe you'll go a different direction in the AL Rookie of the Year, but I don't see it. I feel
like maybe the MVP in the National League could be kind of close if somehow Mookie Betts has like a week of grand slams to end the season or something like that. But I think for the most part, every award is locked up at this point in the season.
All right. Well, let's do quickly throw the trivia question out there. twice in history, postseason history, a team lost a postseason series, clinching the ending moment of the postseason series was a wild pitch that scored the series clinching run. That happened twice in baseball history. Both times, the same team lost. The same franchise, twice in their history, lost a postseason series with a wild pitch and the winning run coming across. Which franchise has lost two postseason series? One was a World Series, one was a League Championship Series on a wild pitch. And that is your trivia question for today. Miller Thomas, where can people listen to your show?
Follow me on Twitter at CareerThomas24 for the personal account. Look up Locked On Diamondbacks, both Twitter, Instagram for the podcast handle. Listen to the podcast on all your streaming platforms, and please subscribe on the Locked On Diamondbacks YouTube channel.
And you can follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter and Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Talking baseball, talking wild card, talking wild pitches with Miller Thomas. I am the host of Locked On MLB. My name is Paul Francis Sullivan. Call me Sully. Let's fist pump for another week.